none of my friends would really understand sort of how important it is, like being on this podcast or being in Forward as One, or just when I go on somebody's stream who's really big in Tarkov or whatever, like people on YouTube, like when I did the song, the Wipe song, like people saying Dr. Lupo says hello, and like I went on his chat and he's like, John, I love your song. And I'm like, what?
Welcome to ScavTalk, an Escape from Tarkov podcast with a continuing focus on development of the game, patch note analysis, theory crafting, and general gameplay discussions. I'm Church, I'm one of your hosts, and I'm a video editor for a Tarkov YouTuber named Airwing Marine.
And I'm GigaBeef, a Tarkov YouTuber helping you guys get better at the game. And today I'm super excited to introduce John B, who we've got on as our guest this week.
Hello. Hi.
Thank you very, very much for joining us. I'm super excited to get you on.
Yeah.
It's fantastic to have you here, man. It's fantastic to have you here.
I don't know what I offer to the Tarkov space, but I'll do my best. I absolutely love the game. I'm relatively new to it, but I am obsessed with it. Doesn't mean I'm knowledgeable, but no.
I mean, I guess we could just kick straight off into the question that to be honest, I usually ask most people, but how exactly did you end up getting into Tarkov in the first place? And I guess feel free to give a bit of background for yourself too, for people who aren't necessarily familiar with you.
Hang on a minute, I'm a bit hot. Let me gotta take my jacket off.
The epic clothing, the epic, honestly, it's
I've got
good.
3 layers of scav clothes. So I had to check this recently because I wasn't sure, but I got the game in February 2020, which feels more recent than it. I don't know. It feels like, I don't know. Anyway, that sounds like too recent or too long ago, but I'm pretty new to it, really. I think I've had 2 wipes. I'm only starting to feel like I'm getting good. And I used to play. I've never been really a PC gamer apart from donkeys years ago. I used to play Counter-Strike a bit, not very well, but I really like that. But I've been so busy doing music, and I don't travel as much. Well, last 18 months I haven't been traveling much for my DJ gigs at all. But back in the day I was really traveling a lot, so I wasn't at home that often, so I couldn't really get into gaming that much. I was more of an Xbox guy until I discovered Tarkov, basically. And I think I discovered it. I started watching Stodare because I was into Battlefield, and I'd sort of watch his highlight reels on YouTube. And I think somebody was showing him Tarkov once, and I was like, "Oh, this looks good. Oh, this is stealthy." Even though it isn't stealthy, really. But I just found Call of Duty and Battlefield were just too fast and hectic and dressy, and I just like the look of Tarkov. It just, the idea that I could play more slowly and creep around, and sound was really important. And my PC wasn't. I didn't really have a PC that was capable of gaming very well. I had some kind of Athlon something or other. So I got a better graphics card, and I try. This is the thing that's weird. I think I tried it maybe with a key or something. Maybe was there a period when it was free, or that you could get a trial key for a week?
I think there was.
Maybe there was. Yeah, I don't.
There was for a little bit.
I do know I bought a standard version and I upgraded. But I feel like I tried it, and then there's a big period where I didn't play it, and then I got into it. But anyway, so it got me into upgrading PCs. I've now got a really nice gaming PC, and now I've got a PC that's good enough to play it and a nice setup here. I'm fully devoted when I have time to actually do it.
That's awesome, honestly. That's awesome. That's so funny because so many people come to Tarkov from different lots of different avenues, and that's hilarious. It's almost kind of like your gateway drug into PC gaming. That's
for sure. Yeah.
That's super funny, and like to be such a difficult game as well. A lot of people have kind of gone from something like similar or analogous in some ways. Like PUBG was. I mean, it's not really the same, but it's
Mm.
it can be quite a tough game with low time to kill and stuff like that. But like to go
Mm.
straight, there's actually a couple of people who've gone straight into Tarkov. I know like Jesse Kazam, he actually went straight into Tarkov as well, and hadn't
Oh
really
wow.
played PC before too. And yeah, it's interesting. I would have thought it would really put people off, but I don't know. I guess it depends kind of what type
Yeah,
of games you like, what
I was
player
just
you
like,
are.
this looks really good. I want to push for this. The amount of money and time I've invested in like learning about building PCs and I've been a Mac guy forever because I have to be because of all the music production stuff. So getting into Tarkov's kind of helped me learn some other things as well, and get out of my comfort zone with some technology stuff that I wasn't familiar with before. Going to gaming with a mouse and a keyboard is the most difficult thing for me.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the reasons why I'm not as good at Tarkov as I'd like to be, because I still struggle with aiming and like fumbling around with the keys, pressing the grenade button at the wrong, grenading myself and things like that. But I'm getting better. I'm getting more used to it, and I think if I could play for longer periods of time and more regularly, I'd improve more. But
Yeah,
I think one of what I was going to say was like getting into a game like this when you're older. I think, and a bit more of a calmer person, you can improve faster and better because you're a bit more patient. And that whole like analysis when you die, like how could I do better next time?
Hmm.
It's not like, oh God, he cheated, he shot me in the head. It's like, oh, I fucked that up because I didn't check my corners, or
Right, right.
and I don't know. I still get mad when I die, but I kind of accept it's my fault.
yeah, no, definitely. It happens to the best of us, even the people who are most level-headed as well. But yeah, it's funny that you say that because I think EFT does actually have quite a significantly older player base in general. If I think
Mm,
uh, you just look at us YouTube people and you look at our demographic and you can see quite clearly that it's kind of
mm,
very much a sort of late 20s like third like
yeah,
sort of early 30s kind of like is where the middle of the chart lies, which is quite a lot higher than other games. And I think it's because of that. It's because of the
yeah.
knowledge base, the reflection upon the things you've done, the way that the pacing of the game. I know that the game can be played very, very quickly, but there's a reason why there's both the rat and the Chad playstyle, right? And then everybody talks
Mm,
about it all the time, is that you can sit in a bush and you can wait for somebody and you can kill somebody who's way better than yourself just by taking them by surprise, because the time to
yeah.
kill is so low. In that respect,
If
then
you have the patience, and that's the beauty of it. Like, and I like that too. I could kill some guy who was heavily armored and running around like crazy if I was playing absolutely super carefully and hiding in a corner and being careful and had a good knowledge of the map. And like, it doesn't happen, but I know it could. And so I like that about it. It's not kind of Call of Duty where it's just so fast and frantic, and like there's no real cost of dying because you come back immediately. And yeah, just I can't handle that. It just frazzles me out. Like I remember like there was that map on Call of Duty where it was just, I used to like the small ones because you get more
shipment.
kills.
Oh my god, are you
Yeah,
talking about
shipment. Yeah,
shipment?
Hmm.
yeah. Going in there, just going, "Wah!" And, like it's cool, but I'm like, this is just mad. You finish, you like, my heart rate is going mad. Like, what's going on here? Is this fun? It's just chaos. It's absolute
Yeah, it
chaos.
is chaos. It's like it's good for pretty much just like aim training, and that's about it.
Yeah.
It is pretty nuts. It's funny. I do kind of if you've like moved platform, I do kind of feel for you because it was actually quite a while ago now. I went and played some single player stuff on the PlayStation that I'd kind of missed out on. Because I used to play like back in the day like PS2 and then moved to PC and really never looked back. And so
Mm.
I got a PS3 for the Blu-ray player on it because it was
Yeah.
cheaper than any of
Yeah.
the commercial
Say.
Blu-rays.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I was like, well, I may as well, now that I've got this thing, I may as well play some games. So I played through
Mhm.
Far Cry and a few of the others. And going back to the controller, I was so bad.
Like,
Like, honestly, it was,
yeah.
yeah, but it was infuriating, right? Because it's like, how you play on PC and you're like, oh, I just wish I had like the setup that I'm used to. Because it's like, I don't know, it's like trying to play, an instrument with like the other way around. And you're like, you know what you want to do, but you just can't actually do
Yeah.
it.
Hmm.
So I do feel for you in that respect
Hmm.
with playing PC. And as you say, if you're busy with other stuff and it's not your main thing, then
Yeah.
you don't necessarily get that much time. I mean, did you because you stream Tarkov fairly regularly? Did you stream any games before EFT?
So I got into Twitch properly once COVID had hit. But I'd been dabbling in it. I think I did try to. I plugged my Xbox into my. It was really shonky, and I was giving it. I thought, oh, I'll just plug it in and play some games, and people will come and watch me, and it'll be amazing. And like, no, John, Twitch is difficult. You have to put some effort in. But I did a couple of like Battlefield and Call of Duty things as my very very first streams, kind of pre-COVID. And then I knew from my interest in Tarkov how I could see how it worked and the benefit of Twitch and being able to learn from the streamers like that. That I never really got Twitch before Tarkov. Really, I didn't understand why you would want to watch somebody playing a video game, but Tarkov is just perfect for that because it's difficult and complicated, and there's so much to learn, and there's somebody there, like it's like a helpline. If assuming you're watching the right person, they can help you out and give you advice and show you how to do things, and you can really because there's so much to absorb. And I could see how good this is that you've got this loop, like it's not a passive experience for the viewer, and I could see because most of my Twitch stuff is music. And I didn't like how most other music-y live streams was just a dude standing there in a kitchen DJing and like not talking to anybody or just like, hey, look at me, watch what I'm doing, I'm really great. And I could see there was a really cool way to like involve the people watching and interact while I'm DJing and in a way that you can't in a club because if someone can't, the whole crowd can't come up and say in your ear like, "Hey, John, look, how's it going?" You're like, "I'm mixing, mate. Yeah, go. No, I won't play Beyonce." Like, it's good. You can see the chat. I'm DJing. I can talk to people. So yeah, like I wasn't really streaming before COVID, and then I really really got into it, trying to find a way to do my DJing sets on Twitch, and like it took me easily more than 6 months to get to a good level in terms of like my video production and where I am now. And again, a huge steep learning curve for the technology. It was something I had never done before. I'd never really used OBS, and I was streaming from a MacBook Pro until August. Which doing all the stuff I am with all the overlays and the chroma keying and the multiple layers and all the different scenes and things, I'm surprised it managed to do what it did. Yeah,
That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, I actually love your setup. Honestly,
Yeah.
like coming to your music streams, they're just like I've never seen anything like it. They're just so funny. Honestly, they're just like you automatically have. It's impossible not to have a good time.
Yeah.
Coming in
Yeah.
into one of your music streams. Honestly, man, it's like it's mental. Like I wish I had half the knowledge that you did in terms of setting up that stuff because most of my time is spent because I'm not a natural. Well, I guess creative in some sense. I'm definitely more like the sort of maths and science end, and so like doing YouTube editing and stuff is like pretty much brand new to me when I started doing my channel and that kind of thing. So most of my time's been spent like trying to doing that stuff, and then Twitch for me has still been very very basic. So it's cool to learn these things, but they do take a long time when you're first looking into this stuff.
It's just it's so much work and so much to learn. Like I found the whole journey exciting. It didn't feel like a drag, so it was exciting to do. And learning when I could tell that something was possible, and I had the tools to do it and everything. I was like, cool, just get on and try and do this. But I'm just not relaxing. I think you can tell I'm a bit like hyper, and I wish I wasn't, and I just find it hard to chill and relax. But I'm just working late all day, every day, and with my wife working at home as well, and her job, she works late too. So if she never knocks off early, so if she's working late, well, I'm like, I can't just go and sit and watch TV, so I might as well just carry on. So
Yeah.
it's just been like overtime for like 2 years now. But I think if I wasn't doing that, I wouldn't have been able to make the progress and learn everything I've needed to get this stuff working.
It's definitely kind of the flip side of kind of like having your office just like in your house and you just being like working there all the time and not traveling and all that stuff. It's kind of like trying to like keep that I don't know, that separation between like work and home. It all just kind of blended, isn't it, in the last couple of years? It's kind of what you said about like, starting in Feb 20 or whatever, and it's just like, well, because the last 2 years are just kind of like
I'm
vaporized.
like,
It's
hold
like
on a minute.
it's like, oh, it feels really recent, but then also like all this time's passed, and it's yeah, it's pretty nuts. Do you have a picture of Nikita in the background on the left? I can
Yeah.
see.
So do you. Yeah, that's my little Tarkov shrine. I had to make that. I can get it actually. Hang on.
I love this. This is so good.
Oh my god, I just got the
Got the
card behind
cards
it.
behind it. Hang on.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
I photoshopped it up. I
Uh-huh.
extracted the photo off thingy and then put a Russian flag behind it.
Brilliant.
And got it
Brilliant.
professionally printed. And
I
yeah,
love it. I love
I'm
it. So
44
good.
years old. What the fuck am I doing with my life?
Oh my goodness. Ah. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's it's super cool actually, because I saw some of your stuff that you put out on, I think it was on Twitter, where you were talking about how now that like live gigs are reopening back up, and you were speaking about having Twitch chat and that kind of thing. And yeah, you can't have people come
Mm.
up and speak to you, but having the chat there, you can read it whilst you're doing stuff. It's a bit like, when you're streaming anyway, and you've got your like you having if you're in like I find if you're in like a duo or trio or something, it's very difficult to interact with anyone else. But chat
Yeah.
is kind of passive. You read it when you have a spare moment, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so it's because it's lower key, you can actually do that. And I actually think it's amazing that this is effectively what's come out of the pandemic for kind of your space, is that now that you're able to integrate live
Mm.
Twitch events
Yeah.
into
I'm
streaming.
really
It's
quite excited about being. There's been two live gigs I've had. I've only had like three since COVID. I played. First one was in August in Leeds, and they'd asked me to do like an AV show, and it was the first time I've always wanted to do some kind of visual offering for gigs. Can you hear me? Okay, is
Yeah.
the mic all right? Yeah.
yeah.
And so I took a second laptop that was running OBS, told the club I needed an HDMI in. They arranged the projector, so all my visuals were on this screen that was actually in front of me on a sort of muslin-y thing, so you could see me through it when it was black. Um, uh, but because and I was running the visuals out of OBS, which you wouldn't normally do in a club, but I know it inside out ish, so it worked. Took a Stream
Yeah.
Deck, so the idea, and it worked and everything, and I just had my visuals, and I could press the Stream Deck to like trigger changes in the visuals. I made a whole hour-long sort of VJ video that was all the crazy stuff you would see like in a club normally, but like always changing, never repeating, so it was still interesting. And like moving forward, the idea is I can trigger events with a Stream Deck that will change the video on the screen. But also because it's OBS, I could put an overlay of the Twitch chat on the screen in the club. So and I can be broadcasting from the club, either from that computer or just directly from my phone. And then people can like redeem stuff. Like I have some redemptions where people can force me to play a particular song or do a rewind, like in jungle drum and bass, sort of coming from reggae culture and everything. If the crowd reacts enough, the DJ would rewind the tune to the beginning, and like it's a sign of when it's really going off. So people could trigger that and force so you could be watching on Twitch somewhere in another country and forcing me to do an action that affected like a nightclub in another country,
That's cool. Yeah.
or you could be in the club yourself with your phone with the Twitch chat open and calling in channel point redemptions, things like that, but involving everybody that's there with seeing the chat on the screen. And so I'm quite excited about being able to do that and like bring it around the world with me, because all it really takes is a second laptop and a bit of preparation with the venue saying I need something to plug in there, and
Yeah.
then all it really takes, and then hours and hours of preparation and all the rest of it. But one of the things with me in like my position in sort of the music touring world and everything, the really big acts, the Swedish house mafias and everything, they have whole teams that travel with them all the time. And like, that's part of their rider. And when someone wants to book them, they add on an extra $2,000 to fly their visuals guy and their manager and all the rest of it. I don't have that luxury, and I have to go on my own. And, if I was to take an extra guy who is going to do all the visuals with me and stuff, that would cost a lot of money. So it's nice I found a way that I can be mobile and do it myself, and it's fully interactive. So yeah, if I could play Tarkov at the same time as DJing,
Then
that
you'd
would
be
be the
set.
one.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine? No, man, it's super super cool. Honestly, it's great to see. I think it's like because it's something completely new, and it's like a crossover between two worlds that you would never really have connected before. And then
Mm.
because everyone had to stay, and you guys were kind of doing DJing from Twitch. It's like created this like unholy crossover that nobody ever would have thought would work. It's wonderful. I think it's great. I wanted to ask you about the track that you made, the "Hold Your Fire, It's the Wipe." Was that for the start of this wipe or the last one?
This one, yeah.
It was this one, yeah. Because I think that went down really well.
Yeah, I was so pleased that people found that. You know, I was worried I'd put all that effort in and it would just waft away into the digital ether and be ignored, but it wasn't, so it's okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's only a couple of like Tarkov themes tracks that kind of come. I know like Veritas has done a couple, and but there's not. I don't think there's that many musicians actually in the Tarkov world, particularly. Maybe it's something that we sort of lack a little bit.
Yeah, well, I was watching. Well, I've been watching One Peg a fair bit. I drop in on his. He's a
he's
really
good, actually.
he's a really good singer.
Yeah.
There's a few, but I don't know if there's people like me that have sort of made a career of it and are now like streaming Tarkov. I feel a bit weird like what I'm doing, but you know, it's just the Tarkov streaming is for me. It's my time, and you know, I love the game, and I want to like share it with my fans. And when I stream Tarkov, it's just once a week, and it's kind of like I get to do a bit of a just chatting kind of vibe as well. So it's an opportunity to chat to the chat a bit more than I would when I was DJing as well.
Yeah, it's Tarkov's a funny game because I think it's only I've thought this before, but then I don't know whether you got a chance to play any of the Cycle, which came out and is kind of in closed beta and people getting keys for it and stuff. But I did like a tiny little bit of streaming on that. But I've spoken before about Tarkov and how it's kind of almost the perfect stream game because there's quite a lot of down. Like the loading time's normally really annoying, but if you're playing with chat, then you know, the loading thing's going and you're chatting to people and you're like building a loadout and like you know it's not action all the time, and so it's actually quite good. But because it's quite stressful when you're in game, a lot of people kind of just like they want to watch it, but they don't necessarily want to play. And so they'll like come in and just chill as well, and still you know be interacting with the game, watching someone else play, but not like being you know because there's this level
you're not
of
experiencing. Kind of like, you're like you go and fight the bull. That's fine. I'll watch you fighting the bull. You know, like it's
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So
I think I suffer from that, watching other people playing it too much rather than just bloody getting on with it myself.
Yeah. So what level are you at the moment then in this
I've been stuck at 38 for quite a long time. I've got 90 million rubles now.
You mentioned this the other day on stream, on my stream.
I turned on my thing. I'm like, what is wrong with you, man? Like, so I played a lot at the beginning of the wipe and really like because I know how important it is, especially because I don't have time to play a lot. And I think when the wipe happened, you know, there weren't live gigs available for anybody yet, so there wasn't that pressure on me to sort of that additional pressure on me on top of all the other things I've got to do and all of that. So I had a bit more time, and also I prioritized it more because I just wanted to get the Bitcoin farm up and kind of get into a situation where I could enjoy playing and relax, and I didn't feel restricted by funds and things like that. So I really haven't played enough at all in the last couple of months, I'd say. Just been, you know, there's lots of domestic things like we're redecorating the living room because the TV died, so we had to get a new TV, and we took the opportunity to paint the wall when I was taking it off, so that forced into like a chain of events and stuff. I do 3 streams a week for the music anyway, which is most of the day of a stream is preparation of the music and trying to get new visuals done every time, although I haven't got enough of that done lately, so there's those things. So yeah, like I kind of, you know, tried to push as hard as I could to get to the points that were important. Like I think the last one that was the big deal was sort of getting the thick case off therapists.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I think or it was kind of getting Peacekeeper to level 3, or there was something that happened at level 38 that was quite an important milestone for me. And then after that, I kind of eased off. But I'd love to have a few more proper sessions playing. But last few weeks, it's literally just been a couple of hours on the stream every Tuesday night. And then in between, it's all like this computer's on in the background. I'm like, Erwin Marine, what would he do? Okay, buy broken LCD screens. All right, cool. Get some teapots on it. Go to Prapor, get the Ash 12s, get the vodka, get it under 18k. Right, nice.
It's so good, yeah. It's not like you sound actually a lot like me this wipe. I think I've probably played. I actually had some time at the beginning of the wipe and hit it really hard. Again, knowing how important it is and want to be able to make my stuff. And I'm actually also at level 38, interestingly, and I've kind of been there for ages. I got to level 37 and then got stuck. I think that was for solar power was level 37, which I kind of wanted to do because I like finishing the hideout. It's kind of like
Yeah.
just what I enjoy doing to complete it, even whether or not it's actually economic to do it or not. It all depends on the wipe length. And I thought this wipe was going to be a long one anyway, and so I just completed everything. But yeah, after that, it's been very, very slow going because I've just been super busy. And the same with you. I've been moving house and on all sorts of other stuff with the baby and everything else. So it's pretty full on. So yeah, it's one of those things where you just you think man, if I had a bit more time, that just actually push through. And because I'd really like to get to level 42, right? Because
I
it's like
just
the
want
next raiders.
one day where I don't do anything else. I just play Tarkov all day.
I don't know. Those days just don't seem to happen anymore.
Yeah,
No.
My wife started going into the office now 2 days a week sometimes. So I think I might wait till next time she goes in. I'm like, right, don't tell anyone. I'm on it. I'm gonna get to level 39 now.
Yeah,
I
you
did.
get a free
I
day.
had a really, really big milestone for this week. I managed to get Punisher 5 done. I've never ever got that far. Because like PMC, I've only got about 50 PMC kills this wipe, possibly even less. That's a record for me. Like previous wipes, I've had even less.
Yeah.
And I got to a higher level, like 40, some low 40s. So I am improving, but I'm really pleased about that. They got the Punisher one. I'm onto the one now where you have to use SVDs. No more Packers, no more funny helmet. So to force myself out of the gear fear, I've just bought a whole bunch of big heavy armors and like big helmets with visors. I haven't been running visors ever. I've never bought a visor ever. So if you see like a crazy Chad running around a bit uneasily, look, that's probably me. Like, oh shit!
Yeah, the Punisher 6 actually is quite fun. I've said it a million times. I love the Punisher series. I think it's great. It's one of some of the best designed series of quests because some of the quests are really bad, but the Punisher series is cool because again it's like the first big milestone as a player. I think if you do complete them all, you're just like, right, now I'm an intermediate player of Tarkov. Right, that's when you feel like your skills are kind of being honed or whatever. And some of them are quite fun. Like the Packer one kind of sucks and it's about being defensive and that kind of thing. But the SVD one is just like, right, crack it into factory, just get this done as quickly as possible. That's the way I do it now. Like previous wipes, I've done it by going long range, trying to like snipe people and stuff. But even if it's expensive, but you can smash it out on factory if you just go in there and you just pretend that the SVD is more like the MP153 shotgun and just kind of hip fire it at people and just shoot them with SNB and they die. It's good. The SVD is a good gun, so it's not like you have to use some piece of crap, which is at least quite nice. But it's definitely one of my favorite quest lines. Honestly, it's awesome.
It's helped me be a bit braver in going to factory. Like normally I would avoid factory because fast runny PvP stuff is not my forte. But it's started to get me into that a bit more. Like that's how I was doing the Punisher 4. I was just sort of running stuff that I could put BP in, like sort of cheap AK MSs and just so just getting a bit better with movement and things like that and more hip firing and I might do so. I was looking forward to just running an SVD and doing some shoreline, bit of long range stuff, go and hang out over a pier and I'll see how I do.
You
But I'll
definitely can
probably
do. Like I've done that before for sure. It's nice to get a mix, I think, and just try it out. Like I was using this literally just like a red dot on top of an SVD with like the Ergo foregrip, the really really cheap one from Peacekeeper, and that's basically it. Just like and then just run around and fire people. But it is nice to snipe as well sometimes. I just find it takes a long time, and when I'm playing, I'm like, oh, I don't want to sit here for like 45 minutes just to get maybe one kill or something.
Yeah, I haven't done Shooter Born in Heaven. I haven't even attempted it. I don't have the patience for that really, or the time. Like when you're like me, you don't have long sections of time to play, so patient, super slow, like camping essentially for Shooter Born in Heaven kind of stuff is sort of. I'd like to do it. It'd be fun. I'd find that quite peacefully, just hanging out, admiring the scenery and all that. But when I've got a smaller window of time to play, I sort of give that a miss, really. And also, when it's the shorter period of time to play there, but you're aware there's a finite period of time where you're going to have this money in this gear because there's a wipe coming whenever. So that's why I need to snap out of it and spend some of this bloody money I've got and actually enjoy the game like with some nice stuff.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, yeah, I'm kind of like, I don't have anywhere near as much money as you. I don't understand how you managed to get to 90 million. That's like super impressive because I run my hideout like quite a bit, and that kind of stuff. And I've probably got like mid-30s, I would say. And but if you wanted to go for some fun kits and you like not focusing on any quests or anything, one thing that I was running in the last stream, I don't know whether I was doing it when you were in there already, but I was using the Zabralo barter to buy like the huge level 6 armor, and then run around with the face shield and the mutant with a huge drum in it and just running around. It was honestly so funny with the drum inside. Like it's just brilliant.
Yeah,
Yeah, because people just like
thing.
People run out of bullets, and then you have like 2.5 mags left, kind of thing. You just and with the extra fire rate, you just don't stop shooting, and people don't expect it. They're like hiding behind boxes trying to reload, and you're just there. You just hold the button down and just walk around the box and kill them. Like it's so funny. It feels like the heavy out of TF2 or something. It's like absolutely insane. It's just insane.
Because those armors don't. I know that armor because it's one of the trades. Airwing Marine, the like 3 thermites and 3
the TNTs.
Yeah,
exactly.
Get your thermite for under 49. Get the TNT for under 23. So I can get a few of them. I've got no problem with that.
Yeah, no, it's good. So, and I don't normally use the big heavy helmets because I'm so reliant on hearing usually that I don't bother.
Same.
But I have been, and there's been a few times when I've been killed because I couldn't quite figure out where people were. And it's partly because I'm just not used to it, but it's funny anyway because there's like one situation in the glass corridor and there was a whole team of 3, and I basically looked around and just opened fire. And the helmet, because I was actually using killer on this one, so I could basically not see anything, and it was just like doink 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 off the face shield. I can't see anything.
Like Ned's Kelly.
So blurry. Yeah, it was insane. It was insane.
I've never worn one of those like Altin helmets or anything. I need to work out what's the best helmet you can wear where you can still have some headphones on.
I think
I need to do the rabbit hole research on that.
Yeah, I think it's either which one do you think, Church? I think it's either the Fast MT or the Exfil. I think is it the Exfil because you can have the Exfil, you can have ears and you can have the headset on at the same time. And the face shield has more HP than the normal multi-ballistic face shield, I think. But you can also, but the some of the others are quite good as well.
I bought the one I bought a bunch of was the one that Dan Exert wears, the like T-Tac 800 or something.
Yeah.
And the face shield for that I don't have unlocked yet, so it's 150,000. And I bought a few of them. Like what? They must. I don't know if there's barters for anything. I haven't checked yet, but
no, it's just I think you have to do that stupid Peacekeeper quest because I also have them locked too, and it's really annoying because I used to run them all the time. I think they moved it. They must have moved it because I used to run that face shield all the time last wipe, and the TC800 with the face shield, in my opinion, is probably the best value. But once you have it unlocked, that's the thing.
Right. What's the quest that unlocks it then?
I think is it one of the sniper ones? I think it's some ridiculous sniper one, isn't it? It's like
like mentor
level 7
one
or
of those.
something.
Okay. I can do that because that's cheesable. I can do that.
You can, I just haven't bothered. Yeah, Airwing says it was changed this wipe. I thought so because I was like, right, Peacekeeper 4, let's go. And then I went in and I was like, lock behind quest. What do you mean? And then it's like, oh no, it's the Balti quest. So I was like, okay, fine. Well, I guess I'm not wearing a face shield this wipe then.
I found the leveling the snipers thing actually really helpful. Like for a man like me who's a bit shit at PvP and everything, what I was doing on the interchange one where you have to kill loads of scavs, I was taking in like a crap Mosin and some crap ammo and just immediately finding a quiet corner and like reloading until you get to the diminishing returns. And it gives everyone else a chance to like go away from the spawns, and as long as you found a good place, like everyone goes and does their thing. And then you can go into the inside or do whatever you're doing. And I didn't get sort of spawn killed at all on interchange doing that. And did it on customs a fair bit too. Just spent a few minutes at the beginning of the raid just reloading in a corner, leveling up sniper skills. So I don't mind doing that a bit because I tended to have some more successful raids afterwards. And
because you're not in like the huge cluster mess right at the beginning. Like there was one thing that I was doing for a little bit was you can take the VPO with no mag and you can load one round in and out of the chamber. Which also works as well, but it takes a little bit. So you don't even lose any bullets, but that takes a little bit of
Yeah.
time. I'm being corrected by chat, actually, by Airing, saying it's locked
Okay.
behind samples, so it's even worse. So you have
Oh
to
god,
collect those
yeah.
bloody stims. So it's
I've got
actually
one
like
left.
nightmare.
Oh,
There's one thing I need for that. I was
Really,
just
just one
relying.
more?
Yeah. I thought I was through today. Something came back in my scav case. I got an adrenaline and something else, and I was like, "Oh, is that the one I need?" But it wasn't. I run shitloads of scavs. You're wondering how I made the money? Like early
That's
wipe,
yeah.
it's gear fear, isn't it? Just running loads and loads of nighttime interchange. Wherever I spawn, I have a little route I do. Just hoover up whatever stuff I can and get out. Also, I got a Twitch Rivals armband really early on in my scav case, which I mean, that didn't make me money but it meant I swapped it for a thick case, which obviously kind of saved me 15 million or whatever it was at the time. That was really lucky. I'd be down 15 million if it wasn't for that.
Yeah, that's cool actually. That's interesting. Yeah, I did. You just reminded me. I was thinking, as I kind of wanted to put something out about it, but I was like, oh, it's kind of too short to make into a video, and I don't really have like at the moment. I'm not really doing short form stuff just because of like time pressures. I'd love to at some point, but I'm not doing it just yet. But about the whole like cycling the I don't know whether you have your thick items case from Therapist, whether you still just kept that one or whether you sold it.
No, I min max. I've definitely done a lot more min maxing type stuff this wipe than I ever did before. And yeah, I clocked on that you could sell your thick case and then buy one back with barters, and
Yeah.
you would make a little bit of money out of that. Wherever
Yeah.
there's been things like that, I've tried to do the best. It seems like wasting money otherwise,
Absolutely. Yeah, so I did that,
So
recycled it. I think it was like 4.5 mil total
yeah,
for doing that. And there's like a lot of people don't realize that just the find a raid tag thing tick, it's like makes it so
yeah,
much more valuable. You just
yeah, for
exchange
sure.
that find a raid tag for non-find a raid, and boom, there you go.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's just the little stuff like that that adds up. And yeah,
Mm.
you're a testament to that, given that you got so
Yeah,
much money. I think
like not playing that much, doing loads of scav raids early on, and I never really got anything massive. I think I've only found the two found in raid GPUs that I needed for the quest, and built, crafted another one. I haven't found any high value things. I've never found a lead X. I found like 2 or 3 ophthalmoscopes, nothing massive, but it's just lots of scav runs. And then I don't know how much of this adds up now, but trying to always be crafting stuff.
yeah.
At least now I know the stuff that is profitable. Like last wipe, I just assumed everything that you crafted would be profitable.
right.
Like the concept that crafting something and losing money from it was foreign to me. I remember coming into your chat like early on in the wipe, and you were talking about not this wipe, but like a long time ago. So I know you were talking about barters, and I was like, oh, I love barters. My favorite barter is the one where you swap the matches for the painkillers, and you were like, but painkillers are only like 4,000 and matches sell for like, and I was like, what? Oh. So I sort of like, there was a lot of those things I didn't realize, you would lose money doing them.
Yeah.
So I made sure I'm not throwing money down the bin with stuff like that, and it's really helped. And also, like having a few Tarkov friends now, I talk to and compare notes with about this sort of stuff as well, like giving you little tips and tricks and things, and playing with other people as well has helped me survive a bit more, and all the rest of that.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's really good. Yeah. Ewing's saying that Intel 3 is hugely underrated for how much money it saves you on the flea, because otherwise you
Yeah,
do get a bit rinsed by flea market fees. It's quite funny.
yeah,
I should have documented this, to be honest, but I used to be telling like friends that don't play Tarkov, who were kind of like vaguely interested but didn't want to spend the time committing to it, about all the various like terrible things that happen to people where they accidentally put up a stack of rounds for like 50,000 a round rather than 50,000 rounds, or
yeah,
the total cost or something, and end up spending like 25 million in fees and all this kind of stuff. And there's like so many things to catch you off guard. Like there's no safety
yeah.
rail. It just lets you fall straight off the
You're
cliff.
like, ah. Yeah, I think Ms. Dunk did that. I raided her one night, and she was like, "Oh, did you just see what I just did?" And like, she was selling some ammo and added an extra couple of digits on, and just got rinsed, like lost millions in the fees.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think I'm not sure I'd notice. Well, I'd notice if I lost millions, but I know I've made a few boo boos like that, just because I'm doing it so quickly now. I get the bloody captures all the time now because I'm there like get the teapot, get the pile of meds, get the teapot, buy the LCDs, and like, yes,
I always
so I'm
thought the
gonna
captions
watch
were kind of funny because, like, if you were brand new, I mean, I guess maybe it wouldn't appear if you're brand new because you wouldn't be using it that quickly. But like it says,
Yeah. What
click
if you
on
don't
these
know?
items. Yeah, you might
Yeah.
not know what those items are if you're new.
What's an
It'd be like,
Algin painkiller?
Oh, that's
I
true.
don't know because it doesn't tell you. You
This
can't right click identify. Like, yeah,
Find the
I've always
morphine. Where's the morphine? There's a pen there. Like, yeah,
I've always thought it was quite mean. But
yeah,
no, it's funny about the whole scavs thing because I know Gingy was doing that. How many scav runs, or what was it, 100
yeah,
million, 100 scav runs or something, and she
yeah. I
completed
watched
it
her doing that. Yeah.
90 something. Was it 93 or like
Mhm.
97 or something? I don't remember. I mean, that to be fair, that's mental. Like getting over 1,000,000 rubles per
Yeah.
run, that consistently, that is like that's bonkers.
Yeah.
But it just it goes to show the value. I have stopped kind of running them a bit more than I used to because I used to run them
Yeah. I'm
continuously at the
not.
beginning of the wipe to grab stuff, but
Yeah. I'm not now.
definitely don't as much now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's funny. It is an interesting one. Yeah. What was I going to ask you? I was going to ask you something else about. Oh yeah, about because you done some Tarkov overlay streams as well, right? Where you're doing like the music streams, but in
Yeah.
Tarkov,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Ragman Party and that kind of stuff. Which
Yeah. Yeah. So I stream Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. The Wednesday one, I always play liquid drum and bass, the kind of the chilled stuff. So the concept for the visuals for that is a beach bar, and it's all beach party, like pool party stuff. Fridays, I have a whole bunch of like different themed scene sets that I've created. One of them is just like upfront drum and bass. It's all lots of random different bits and bobs. One of them Star Trek themed, so it's all I'm DJing, on the bridge and on screens in spaceships and things like that. One of them's Foghorn Friday, because there's a sort of style of drum and bass that has bass sounds that people think sound like foghorns, which they do. So it's all like me on boats and nautical themed things. And being a Tarkov obsessed dude, I was like, I want to do one like DJing in Tarkov locations and be mad. And like, I know the maps inside out, so I know where if you were putting on a party in customs, like where you could do it, and sort of with my knowledge of how OBS works and what I need to make it look like I'm there, I know what will work. Like so, sort of Scav Island. I know there's a boat lying there, so I know I can cut the boat out in Photoshop, and that's in the foreground. The webcam's behind it, and then there's a background behind that. So yeah, I have like every now and then I try to time the Tarkov ones when I think something exciting is going to happen in Tarkov. If there's just been a patch or something, or however, just it fits in my rotation of sort of 6 weeks, something. And yeah, like every single scene is a Tarkov thing. There's like stuff in customs reserve. I've done some setups in labs, and I tried to like, with their permission, sort of stuck a few streamers in there. I've got Iron Fist sent me a green screen video of him like bopping, so I could put him on some screens in Interchange. I got Philbo just said I could use a picture of him, so I put him on one of the billboards in Interchange. I learned After Effects for rotoscoping, so when you don't have someone on a green screen, like Church knows all this, you can like cut them out of their background. So I rotoscoped Bakisi out of something and put him on the greens in labs, hydrating, and stuff like that to like try and sort of show my love of the community and all of that. And I just fun, you know what I mean? Like I have dancing scavs and a labs party and all of that. So there's loads more scenes for Tarkov World parties I want to do. It's just a matter of finding the time to sort of do it because I have to
Yeah.
kind of sometimes the way it works best is you think of the location, then you go there offline in game, and then kind of do it, stay still, put your gun away, and just sort of film it so you get the birds flying and the trees moving and stuff like that. And then I load that into Final Cut, and then I put in other objects and sort of try to color grade them so they sort of sit relatively realistically. And then I need to cut something out that goes in the foreground in front of where my webcam sits because it's all done like live in OBS. So
Yeah.
uh, and I also have to put this all together in a way so that it doesn't tax the CPU on the streaming computer too much because there's all this shit going on. And I've like the setup upstairs. I've got like 3 or 4 webcams connected into this computer. and then the audio coming in, and then you've got the Streamlabs alerts as well, like the browser inputs, and then I don't know, about 50 different scenes in OBS or more. And each of those has got so many different inputs and like several videos playing as well. So the background is a video. Depending on how lazy I was, some of the like dancing people are their own videos that are looping with a chroma key filter applied to them and all the rest of it. So that's why I had to spend £3,000 on a new PC for the loft that literally only gets used for the streaming. But it works. So there you go.
Yeah, it's honestly super cool. Have you ever used the? I think there's a literal stage on Interchange, isn't there, on the in the outside
Yeah.
kind of in the parking lot? Have you used that one?
Yes, I have. Yeah, there's a scene I have with that. Yeah, it's got me on the stage, and actually either side of it, there's kind of billboards. So what I did was I set up like masks on the billboards so that I could then superimpose
Oh yeah,
videos, like VJ videos of stuff, um, and all the rest of it. Yeah, yeah. The
that's
stage. I was like, the stage. That's the one. Got to do it.
yeah, that's awesome. You're just like, if I was going to do an underground rave in Norinsk,
Yeah.
where would I stage this thing? Taking off the
Yeah.
second
Third
layer of
layer.
scab clothing. So you started to tell me the story before, actually, and we
Oh
said like, oh
yeah.
yeah, we'll leave it for the cast. But
It's not an amazing story. It just proves I know people in Russia, I suppose.
yeah,
Yeah, so I got this and the hoodie. I think possibly off Amazon or I found a website where you could buy, because this is after a bit of googling and rabbit hole researching, I found out that this shirt that the Scavs wear is the Russian national Olympic like uniform thingy, and I found out who makes it and all that, but they don't really sell them anymore because it was from an Olympics quite a long time ago.
Hmm.
So I managed to get this and the hoodie, but the proper one that the Scavs actually wear is the jacket that I was wearing at the beginning,
yeah.
the windbreaker, and they don't make them anymore, but there's one place that sold them, and it's only a Russian website, and however hard I tried, they wouldn't ship to the UK. So my friend Gomorozov, who's a physical chemist and works for a crazy like gas company, energy company in Russia. But he's a drum and bass electro producer and does stuff on my label and lots of other really good music stuff. He lives in Kazan in Russia, and I was like, mate, I really need this. Can you buy it and get it shipped to you, and then can I pay you to like UPS it to me or something? So he luckily managed to get one and then get it sent to me, and had to fill in all. I think sending stuff from Russia to the UK is a bit of a pain in the arse with all the customs forms and things like that. It's not as easy as we have it, but I got it and I love it, and I'm going to wear it to the gym at some point, or go running in it. And that'll be my dream. One day I'm out for a run wearing it, and someone will just go "Chique brike," and I'm like, "Yeah, Tarkov friends." And, but,
So
Yeah, you think it would be getting enough popular?
was that the inspiration for some of your merch, like your Tarkov related merch? I know you have one that says like
yeah,
Tarkov on it.
yeah. I wanted to make one that was like this, as much of the Russian Olympic style, but saying Tarkov. So I had to like do a lot of photoshopping and editing and things to get that working. But they exist now, and they're on tarkovtees.com.
Very good. Yeah,
Yeah,
because you do have. Sorry, Jed, you go.
I was gonna say, I think it's really cool how, because of COVID, you sort of like pivoted towards the Twitch side a bit for your music career. And it's
Yeah,
for someone like me, I found out about you on Twitter, I think, the Found and Rave video
yeah,
that you did,
yeah.
which I saw, I was like, who is this guy? I was just like, I've never heard of this guy. What's going on with his hair? Like, he's like, he's gonna, I really like it when people like celebrate their individuality because I feel like you're kind of a unique person. You know what I mean? And
Oh,
so,
thank you.
yeah, I think it's cool because I don't think I've ever would have found out about your music, and it's sort of like a new
Mm.
you're sort of like marketing to a new audience, if you will. The Tarkov audience almost.
Yeah, it's the crossovers and things are really funny, like and really really cool, like and I feel like I have a lot of different angles to my personality and all of that. I'm a massive nerd and a
Yeah.
gamer, and I fully identify with like the nerdy gamer Twitch streamer kind of fraternity. But I've also got this other side to me that's like international superstar DJ, and I've toured the world. I've toured all over Russia. I've played arenas to like 25,000 people in Russia, and met like I played in this place somewhere in Russia once where the promoter was like the local mayor or something, and he was trying to make his town into like the Ibiza of. It was this place that was about like 3 hours out of Moscow, and he came and met me personally at the airport in his chauffeur-driven massive Mercedes, and like we drove all the way there, and like they have all these police roadblocks and stuff in Russia where they just sort of flag you down and check your stuff, and if you're unlucky you have to bribe them or something. If not, you go through. This guy would just stop at them and like go, "How you doing, mate?" Because he knew them all, and they'd like people would be waving him through when everyone else was getting pulled over. And I was like, "This is mad!" Like I dread to think the sort of crazy connected Russian types of people I've met in my travels and all that. And yeah, I'm like here doing a Tarkov thing and all that as well. It's just a bit weird. I love it, but it's bizarre, really. But I'm really happy sort of where I am and what I'm doing. And it sort of COVID's been a bit of a blessing because it gave me the kick to really get into Twitch and understand it and commit. And it's been quite rejuvenating to learn a new. It really helped me learn much better about video editing and Photoshop. Like I could do pretty good video editing before this. There was a song I did called Get Stuffed, where the video is pretty bonkers and there's lots of green screens and weird stuff. But doing all the background videos for Twitch and everything, it forced me to learn like Final Cut inside out and to really up and Photoshop now as well. I can do everything I need to, and that was holding up my music career before because it's so much that you can make an amazing song, but unless you've released a bloody 10-second Instagram video of with edits go click buy this now and all that shit, like it's meaningless. That's almost more important. So either if you at my level, either you do that yourself or you're somehow rich enough to be able to pay somebody 500 quid every time to do you a video of your gig and stuff. So it's helped me catch up with where I needed to be as a sort of one-man band with all of this stuff. Yeah,
because I mean you put on a hell of a show, I've seen. And it's just cool how like I kind of got into vaporwave genre from the internet,
yeah.
and it's like it's
I
just
only got into vaporwave like only a couple of months ago, really.
oh really?
Yeah. Oh my god, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just like I mean, it's just some dude in this room, and he's just live streaming on YouTube, and he's got all these visual effects, but it's like you have like an audience, and he's got like the community, and it's just like I don't know, it's this weird like online I don't know, universe or something with like how it's changing. And I mean maybe one day we'll just all be in a club inside Meta, for Oculus Rift.
Please no. That's the day I'll unplug myself and then jump in the sea. Except I won't be able to because Mark Zuckerberg won't let me turn myself off.
Exactly. Oh man, it's it is a crazy one. It's funny, just like just how like everything's now. People aren't just musicians or YouTubers or streamers or whatever. Like now, everybody is a content creator, and that seems to be the way that things are going. I mean, we've spoken before. I mean, if you don't know Devin Nash, then everyone should know Devin Nash. I'm sure you do. And he talks about this all the time about everything being content creation. And the more that I listen to his stuff, the more that I see, and speaking to people like yourself, it's that it's all the same. It's like you can make some great information about Tarkov, but unless you have like the right YouTube packaging, no one will see it. If you have a great song, but no, it's all marketing. Actually, it's all just internet marketing these days, and it's so just about getting yourself out there and getting people to see it is tricky. And that's why so many people are trying to learn this stuff themselves.
It could be very, very sort of depressing as well. Like sort of think I'm a kind of a depressive person. Definitely now I'm older. Like, and I remember when I first started with the music, somebody'd say, "Oh, this person played your song on the radio in Scotland." Oh, and I'd be like, "Oh wow, oh my god, that's amazing! We're gonna get the big time, yay!" and so that's the first thing, and then someone plays your song on Radio 1 and you're like, oh my god, wow, oh, they played on Radio 1, and or somebody just says something's going to happen, or they like your song or whatever, and I've come to realize that so much of that is sort of quite meaningless, and especially now, like everything gets forgotten so quickly, and you just have to sort of accept that and just do what you're doing for your own reasons, and know you're doing a good job and doing something nice and cool, and bringing joy to those that are already aware of your stuff, and hope it maybe grows naturally because it's authentic and cool. But it can, especially, like, I hadn't realized with Twitch how hard it is and how important it is for people to grow their channels and like to get partner, and like the grind, and like at the beginning I didn't really get that, and because I benefited from my existing fan base and sort of social media and things like that, and I had a means to sort of try to get people in. Even then it's a grind, like epic grind, and I'm constantly struggling and worrying about numbers and all that sorts of stuff. And I don't know where I'm going with this, but oh yeah, just the fact that there's so much competition, so many people doing things, and
Yeah.
you can be doing something amazing and like be so knowledgeable and so good at a game and have it looking really good and have a beautiful setup and all that, and still people don't come and watch you or whatever, and you're like, what's going on here, or hot tub streamers are getting millions more views than you, and all these, and you're just like, what's wrong with the world? But
Yeah, no,
have to
it's
accept it, right?
exactly, it's a tricky one. You just have to like go with the flow and just do what you can.
Yeah.
So you can't fight it. So you just kind of gotta go with it. I did want to ask you, this is like kind of changing direction completely. I guess we're kind of like coming towards the end of our time, I suppose. But like, I did want to touch on a few bits just about like Tarkov itself, like from your perspective, kind of like the way that you like to play the game and that kind of stuff. But we're in a bit of a lull point at the moment, but with kind of like loads of exciting stuff sort of on the horizon. Like,
Yeah.
is there anything specific that you're like really looking forward to, or that you think like could
Well,
be changed from like a player, like from your
I'm
perspective?
really, really happy with the game. I love it. There's very few things that annoy me. People complain about hackers. I really don't feel like I mean, I don't play enough for statistically to have happened enough, but I don't feel like I've been killed by hackers or any cheatery people much ever really, and whatever. Um, I think the daily quest is brilliant. That's going to be really helpful for people like me who there's certain points in your progression, and there's some tasks that really hold me up, and you just need that extra like 0.2 rep or whatever. And I think they're going to be amazing. It'd be really interesting to see how when the next wipe happens, assuming they're all still in. Hopefully that'll help people like me. And it's great for people that have already done all the quests now. They've got something to do. Really great for streamers that are probably a bit bored with things because they've sort of completed it. So they're really cool. I'm excited for Lighthouse, although I'm not excited about trying to learn a new map and dying loads while I'm behind everyone else.
It's always
I
the
think that's
way.
fun. Yeah, I've written a song for Lighthouse. I just haven't
Oh,
recorded it
Oh,
yet. So
really?
really?
I'm hoping
Okay, nice.
a bit like the wipe, same kind of vibe, just celebrating it. And
Yeah.
I'm really excited to record that soon, and hopefully I can get it done. Hopefully the wipe doesn't happen. Like, I don't want a wipe for a while yet. I'm only just kind of ready to start using good guns and good armor, and I'm really excited, and I'm frustrated because I've been busy with so much other stuff. So like in the short term, I'm really excited about running really good armor, good helmets, amazing guns that I'm not worried about losing, and building flipping 200,000 ruble SVDs and don't care. And I think that'll help me improve a lot. The VoIP thing, not really that bothered about. I think it's always good to hear them thinking of cool things to add, but I can see a lot of ways people will abuse VoIP. If it helps people cooperate more, I think that'll be awesome. Some of the nicest, I had this raid at the beginning of the wipe that like warmed my heart so much, and I never found out who it was, but I was on woods really early on. I was in the wooden houses sort of in the north, really early at the start of the raid, and I heard someone coming, and I was just wearing a packer and the penis helmet and like trying to get some Emilia croutons or something. I don't think I'd even been to Jaeger. Yeah, I think I was trying to go to Jaeger's stash, like it was that early. And I was like, hold your fire! And I was like, ah! And some like Chad guy came in and didn't kill me. and then a scav came and attacked us, and I tried to shoot the scav and fucked it up. So he definitely must have taken pity on me. He's like, this guy can't even kill a scav, and he's wearing like shit armor and everything. And this dude just led me around the map. He kept on checking his compass, and we were going around all the stashes, and he's like, "Here, take some of this. Look at the stash." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks." Like, and like, I am pretty good at the game. I know what I'm doing, but he must have thought I was an absolute Timmy, and rightfully so. And this he showed me all the way around, and then he went up the rock, and I fell down the rock and broke my legs. So then I'm hobbling along, and like he goes and finds me some morphine, even though I had a painkiller in my pack, and I didn't realize I'd forgotten that eating a painkiller would like stop me hurting when I was walking. And he got me to the extracts and everything, and I was trying to work out how to find him, but I didn't want him to think I was about to shoot him.
Yeah.
And that was just so wholesome, so cool, and like things like that I just love. So if VoIP increases some friendly playing, I think that'll be beautiful for sure.
Yeah, I think
Arena,
it'd be quite good.
yeah, we'll have to see, I guess.
Yeah, Arena. Will you be playing much Arena, do you think?
We'll have to see what it's like. I think if it's for people that run around quickly and headshot people really quickly, it's not for me. I'll give it a go. I think I'm glad they're doing it. Anything as an addition sounds good. The idea of this is sort of going on what I can remember from the podcast yesterday, Pestily and Nikita. The idea of some accounts where you have like a seasonal wipe and some where there's just no wipe and prestiging and things.
Yeah.
I think that could be useful.
Yeah, I
I'm
think the
glad they're.
prestiging thing's kind of cool. We've talked about that a little bit before. I'm not sure exactly how like the seasonal, non-seasonal thing will work. I have a feeling that a lot of people will just play the white version because it's kind of like the ladder account, right? So it's kind of like that mentality might come over from other games where people don't really play the permanent one, but maybe if they just want to chill out, I don't know. I guess it depends on how hard it is. If it's like, because they said the permanent one's gonna be like extra hard, so it might take you like a lot longer to get to the max level and stuff. So maybe people will. I'm not sure. Just gonna have to
I'm a
see how
little
it
bit worried
goes.
about the changes to the armor they're talking about. Where I mean, if you've got the good armor that covers the sides, then it'd be fine. But you know, it's quite easy to die when you're getting shot in Tarkov anyway, and like it sounds like that's going to make it easier, even easier to die.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit worried about that, but I'll put my trust in them, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly.
Weapon malfunctions. You know, if you keep your gun maintained, it won't happen to you. So fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had a
No, I
couple,
think it's good.
but yeah, I'm just excited to see them continue to develop everything, and I put my faith in BSG for sure. Like, and I really appreciate. I've never really been this deep into a game before. When I was playing Battlefield, I was checking Reddit for what's the new meta and what are people abusing to do well and all of that. But it always felt like there was this sort of gap between the community and the people that were making it, and feedback going and not listened to and everything. And like, it just seems so amazing that they're BSG like bridge the gap and they keep people updated, and Nikita himself speaks, and the PR guys and the system with the Sherpas and the emissaries, and they listen. And if somebody comes up with a good idea, they implement it. And the changes to the flea market, they went to 20, brought it down, and all the balancing. I haven't witnessed that really in a game, but then again, I haven't really taken any other games as seriously as this, so maybe it happens. But
Yeah, I don't know. I think it probably is quite special, and also, I mean, it's that kind of game that incentivizes people to get so into the detail and the weeds, because otherwise you just don't know what's happening, right?
Yeah.
So it really does. I mean, they definitely don't do everything right, but in terms of at least they try, right? And they're taking
Yeah.
on the feedback and they're deciding whether it fits or not. Because originally Nikita said absolutely no to VoIP, and he didn't want it at all. And then after hearing what people had to say about it and seeing it in other games and stuff, then he's gone, okay, fine, maybe we'll try it and we'll change our mind and implement it and see what happens. Which I think that's good, right? It's the ability of the decision maker to change their mind in the face of evidence. Right? That's kind of like the scientific
Yeah.
approach, I suppose, and that's it shows a good mindset, at least for the way that things are done there. And people have the complaints and criticisms about the way that they implement this and that and the other and the time, and it does take them quite a long time. But I think it's just because they're so meticulous about the way that they want things to be done. Yeah, we'll see. I'm
think
an inevitable optimist on the game.
I'm hopeful. I mean, I've got a pretty heavy system, and I play an ultra wide 4K,
Oh wow.
and I get like, which makes streaming awkward because I can't do pass through on a capture device. So I've got a 3090, right? So
Mhm.
my main display comes out of one output. I run a mirrored output on a second display that goes to the capture thing. So my 3090 is basically showing Tarkov twice, which is crazy. So when I'm streaming, I get lower FPS, but I still get all right. Um, but I'm hoping that when they go to Unity and whatever else they do, it's even better performance.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to just like, there's no reason why I shouldn't be getting like maxed out 144 refresh rate with the system I have. I think I get close to that when I'm only running one display when I'm not streaming. But yeah. The other thing that I hope they would do is the kill cam type stuff. I wish you could go back and watch back a raid and move your cam. I mean, it'd be great for content creators as well to
Yeah.
once it's all finished and the raid's done and you can't like stream snipe or whatever people would want to do. To go back and watch and see how all the other people on the map had moved, where they'd gone, see who'd killed you. You know, seen when you just walked past a guy and was unaware he was there. That would be really helpful for learning as well. And I haven't really heard them talk about implementing something like that.
Yeah, it seems to just be like helmet cams because
Yeah,
in so many other games that you have that kind of thing. Like back when I used to play PUBG and that kind of stuff. I'm like from my roots is from 1v1 like strategy gaming, and that's all around like watching pro people's replays, your own replays, seeing where you made a mistake, where they watching your play from the opponent's perspective in like a strategy game in the fog
yeah,
of war and seeing like what information you gave away without realizing it was always like so important. And so
yeah,
not actually having the ability to even look in Tarkov. All you could do is record your own screen and then just watch the death and go,
yeah,
well, I think he was here. There's a muzzle flash for like the tiniest thing, and you can like freeze frame it and see the guy silhouetted on the stairs, and there's a tiny little slit, and he got you with an RFB through there, and
yeah,
you're like, God damn it! It's like
yeah,
that's really the best that you can do, and so it would be quite nice. I remember it's like as you say for content creators too. I think there are ways that we will, this is kind of banned from discussing, but I know when there was a Zchum video where he had like all these like cool shots of like him killing people and then dying, and people are just like, dude, how did you even get how did you make this work? And he's just like, I definitely didn't go into raid with a friend, getting them to wear exactly the same equipment as the people that I killed, and then recorded it from close range with the third friend who was right next to them, and then slowed it
oh
down.
God,
Definitely didn't do
yeah,
that. And I was like, oh my
yeah,
God, like the amount of work and effort it goes into like
yeah,
recreate those scenes in the same place to like get the cinematic shot. It's just like, God,
yeah.
could really do with like a sort of a theater kind
That
of
takes
mode
some
in the
serious
game.
dedication. Yeah, I've noticed Pestily started doing that on the raid ones where
Mhm.
he'll cut in some scenes that have obviously been done separately, or
Mm.
which is cool to sort of set the scene. Like that's just a lot of extra work, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You got the guys like Junker and a few of the others who've got kind of like everything modeled in Blender and stuff. So they've got like
Yeah,
all the assets already, and they can like make the
yeah,
mouths move and like do all sorts of funny stuff. Like
yeah.
it's super crazy, but yeah, it's
I
like so much work to get to that point.
I haven't gone down that rabbit hole yet, learning Blender. Or I got close. I was like, oh, shall I? Shall I? No, just that's one. Just leave that to the professionals. You haven't got time, John. Yeah. So I was trying to learn a bit of 3D modeling for NFTs and things to sort of,
Mm.
Okay.
spinning coins and all that stuff. But I came to the realization that it was just going to be a huge time sink, and better to just find someone who's good at it and pay them and get on with what I'm already good at.
Yeah, there's definitely a line, you go like, how much can
Mm.
I, reasonably do of the basic to intermediate stuff? And then after a certain level, you're just like, I just
Yeah.
can't. It just isn't worth it.
It
This is
becomes my main job now, or like,
yeah, exactly. You're almost like, oh well, maybe I could do this for other people. This is gets to that kind of stage. Um, cool. Well, Church, I don't know. Like, did you have anything else that you wanted to ask John while he's here, or any like closing thoughts or anything?
Yeah, I was curious how you got into music production and your musician
um,
career. Was your father
so
into it or?
no, my dad worked for IBM from
Mhm.
university until retiring, and my mum's a language teacher. She's retired now, obviously. I was quite a nerd at school. I went to university and did cellular biology at Durham. But I was into music as my sideline. I had piano lessons when I was a kid, and
Yeah.
playing the piano naturally led on to being interested in keyboards and synthesizers and stuff. And I guess sort of pop music when I was born in 77, so I started becoming like musically aware late 80s. So I was aware of sort of Human League and things like that, and seeing people on top of the pops and synthesizers and be like, oh, I want to do that. Jean-Michel Jarre. And it was good as being a bit of a loner nerd. Like, you can make music all by yourself, that you don't need bandmates if you got no mates. You can just do it with a drum machine. So I was just sort of noodling around making electronic music. But also, I live near London. I live in a place called Maidenhead, which is sort of near Heathrow Airport-ish. So we could get pirate radio stations that were broadcasting in London. I could listen to where I live, and I would hear like Fabio and Groove Rider and DJ Hype and Colin Dale and Colin Favor all on the radio. And, this is when I was at school, sort of 14, 15, nerdy. None of my friends liked dance music or anything like that. So I was like, this is cool. And I started, when I came home from school, there was a little record shop in my town, and I'd go in there almost every day. And like talk the ear off the dude that worked there, and he'd play me the new tunes on vinyl. And that was kind of when I discovered drum and bass. And he ended up releasing after like much badgering, he released one of my first records on vinyl, a sort of really fast techno tune. And then I just started making more drum and bass stuff. A lot of it was really weird and really crap. And there were a couple of guys from my town that were older that knew what they were doing and ran a label, who took me under their wing a bit and helped. And then so I did a couple of tracks with them that they released on their label. And then I just started making loads of demos and sending out lots of demo tapes to drum and bass labels that I'd heard of, that I thought were good. Like cassette tapes with these little printed out letters that I'd like word processed with like little musical notes on the head, like sending to like Fabio and Groove Rider, like, hello, my name is John Williams. Here is a composition I have made, which I think you might like. It has jazzy undertones, but a heavy drum and bass breakbeat with low bass sounds. Like, and miraculously, like, a lot of them like actually listened to it rather than chucking it in a bin.
Yeah.
And then, got back to me. And then a guy called DJSS, who runs a record label called Formation that was based in Leicester, took me under his wing and released my first album. And he was throwing events, so I got my first DJ gigs through him. And by then I was sort of doing stuff. But it's mainly just sort of being a nerd, liking Jean-Michel Jarre and randomly discovering drum and bass and falling into it. And luckily, I'd done my first album and got it released by the time I graduated. So when I graduated uni, I wasn't like still trying to make it. I sort of I could see that there was a possibility, and so I said to my parents, like, can I stay living at home for one more year, and like, if this doesn't work out, I'll go and work for Glaxo Wellcome and do what I was supposed to, or do an MBA and then do that. And luckily the music stuff kept going, so I wasn't on the vaccine team and we were all dead. Imagine that in an alternate universe. I'm working at AstraZeneca and I fuck it up and the vaccine doesn't get made. And like, yeah, thank God John B tried to discover drum and bass.
That's funny.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So did you sort of pioneer the electro step? Was that sort of like your thing, or was that just like the small little cult?
I think I kind of did, really. That was when I had my most success and I really like broke away from sort of more mainstream normal drum and bass, because I'd always liked electro-y 80s stuff.
Yeah.
And Electro Clash was just blowing up. I think this was like around 2000. Electro Clash was blowing up sort of New York and all of that. And I'd been recognizing it, thinking, this is amazing. Like, I just need a way of making it work in drum and bass, which isn't always easy because drum and bass is such a different speed from house and everything else. So I started doing that. It took a couple of years for me to sort of get it right. And I look back at pictures from them where I thought I was like Mr. Electro Clash and thought I was wearing loads of makeup, and I'd literally put, a tiny little bit of eyeliner on, and I'm waltzing around going, yeah, I'm electro now. And like, no, you're not. You just got a little bit of eyeliner on. And then I just went mad and was sort of, like loads of makeup and really bright colors and things. And my sets were 90% very, very, very electro-y 80s. influenced, but all drum and bass. And I would still play heavy drum and bass in the mix too, to sort of make it all flow and
Sure.
make sure, because like if you're being flown all around the world to play gigs in Siberia and whatever, it's wrong to misrepresent. Like you have to be a good ambassador for drum and bass, which is the root of everything. So even though I was really pushing my electro-y thing, I still played across the board as well. I just looked pretty weird while doing it. And luckily never had any trouble either, like looking pretty crazy and weird. I would have expected to sort of get treated, roughed up or something for being a weirdo punk or something, but people were always cool with me in weird countries. So that's nice. If I'm wearing this now, I'll be like, hey, what's up? I'll be like, GigaBeef, don't say that. I was like, I need to make sure I know, because I just recite scav mumbles and get thrown in jail because most of them are rude, right?
Yeah, start some kind of like
What
international.
you want? Like, Niet.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing.
That's cool because I've never really been into D&B that much. I did go there was like a phase where I got into like Aphex Twin and some of the more acidy type of stuff.
Mhm.
But listening to your streams and like sometimes I'll play them while working, I've sort of like rediscovered the whole genre and the different subgenres because there's so much subgenres within.
There's so many different styles of drum and bass that,
Yeah.
suit all, it goes super hard, like stuff that sounds like super metal
hmm
to almost ambient stuff. Like I've always just thought it's just the tempo. That's the only thing that really is the only solid rule of what makes something drum and bass. That's why obviously there's a lot more to it than that, but kind of as long as I can mix something into a drum and bass set, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish there was more people making synthwavy stuff, because I absolutely love that, and that's where it gets frustrating. Like I have to spend so much time preparing for the streams, making visuals. Like there's loads of stuff I need to do that I don't have time to do anyway. But like making more music is so huge, and I get the most pleasure from that and the most sort of satisfaction that I've created something that is really meaningful. And lots of things I want to try, like really pushing some synthwavy drum and
hmm
bass, and like I've got a whiteboard full of flipping ideas and Apple Notes full of stuff, and just not enough time to do it all. Like I can see, a lot of the really big famous EDM guys literally pay people to kind of, they'd be like, here's the idea, go and do it. It's sort of it's like Sharknado, make a movie, do it. It's like I went to there's a horror movie festival I go to called Fright Fest, and there was a guy, one of the they bring people up for Q&As before they show the movies, and he said, in some spheres, the guy will say, okay, budget's this, we're going to make Sharknado Octopus COVID movie, do it. And it's like, okay, cool. And they do it and they get paid and it gets released. It's like, make me an EDM banger with a piano at the beginning, a female vocal, and a rap section there. And yeah, I'll come in the final studio session and go, turn that a bit up. Nice. Job's a good one.
Yeah, it's a funny thing about like the getting it to that big scale. It's almost like you either have to just kind of like go for it and just commit to saying, fine, I'm just gonna outsource a load of stuff. I know it's just like such a huge step because, as you say, you got to really be on such a scale that it's actually worth it. But it's kind of almost chicken and egg in some ways with this stuff. I don't know. It's yeah, it's just complicated. It's like again, I'm just like thinking about content creation in general.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's like about getting editors and all this kind of stuff, right? It's like it's this sort of similar kind of deal, trying to industrialize the whole process in some ways. But
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes that can take something from it. If
Yeah.
you're not doing it yourself, I know it just depends on like who you get and whether somebody's doing it the way that you want it to be. I know it's tricky. It's definitely not
Mhm.
easy. Definitely not easy. Yeah.
So,
Oh, I found your video about. Sorry, I know you're wrapping up. I found your video about armor very helpful the other week. The level 6, the hex grid versus slick one.
Thank
So
you. Thank you.
big up.
Well,
Hex
that's
grid.
where I like reminded
Yeah.
myself about the Zabralo, and I was like,
Mm,
okay, because like normally I learn something every time I do a video usually, because I go into it more in depth than I would if I'm just playing, because then I'm like, right, I'm on the wiki, I'm looking at everything, I'm looking at every
yeah.
bar to make sure I haven't missed anything. It's like
in
it's
case
quite
Red, they go,
difficult.
have you seen the new GigaBeef video? He got it wrong. There's 1 extra HP on the slicks, and that's
I
from
mean, yeah, like that like inevitably happens. I try to minimize that as much as possible.
Yeah.
But like it's always there's like something. I don't know. Like it's just it's impossible to just like to cover off everything. But I've got pretty good at it now most of the time. Like usually I can cover almost everything. Occasionally there's like random stuff, and usually to be honest, we built up quite a good community anyway. So like normally the comments now are just like, oh, have you considered this? Have you considered that? Like I don't get that many like really crappy comments, especially on YouTube. YouTube is actually pretty good, I would say. YouTube's probably one of the nice communities, I think. But like the one that I did that put out today was about like the mutant, and I was talking about this, the Thunder Beast suppressor. You can't get it anywhere, and someone was like, "Oh, you can actually get it if you go through Skier and you do like the barter for like the TX15." And I was like, "Oh, that's actually I forgot about that."
Cool.
You
I haven't
can
seen the
actually get it
mutant
then.
video yet,
And it's like, but it's
and I'm
like
going
one
to
of those
start
things
using them.
where, well, there you go. But it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, unless you like already kind of had it in your mind, like you just don't really see that anyway. You just forget about it. So
Yeah.
I always try to put it as together as like watertight as possible, and so that means that I end up usually going like, oh yeah, this barter, I forgot about this, or oh, they've changed this and I didn't really notice, or even like you're broadly aware of them, but being like, when I did the video, actually, it was way cheaper than I think it is even now. And I was like, dude, this thing costs like 200k to buy. This is insane. I just didn't realize how cheap thermites were because I don't use them for anything. And they like fluctuate. But I was looking at it going, okay, this is awesome. That's why I started running it and just being
Target
like, oh, may
price
as well.
49k thermite.
Exactly. So yeah, no, it's good. It's good. It's all good. No,
Because I think the Tarkov community is very nice, and when I see people complaining about sort of the people getting angry and complaining and all that, like I don't see that in the places I look at, and my experience with anybody that I've seen in Tarkov community is nothing but positive and helpful, and that's one of the things that keeps me sort of staying and into it and all that is. It seems generally really positive. Like we're all here. We know we're in something. It's a bit like drum and bass. Like we've discovered something really cool. There's underground and special and difficult, and there's a steep learning curve. But when you get good at it, it's rewarding, and you want to share that passion with other people. And like everyone that's into the same thing as you is also cool because they've gone through the same thing, and it's nice. I like that.
Yeah, it's good. I think there's a little kind of like sub community of people who just like to grumble and then come back and play the game every day anyway. But
I hope I've killed some of them. I hope I've got them. I hope
it's inevitable,
at least one of the 50 kills that I've made in this whole wipe. I hope some of them are the bad people.
If you did like the way that I ended up trying to push the PMC thing like really early on was actually learning factory properly. That was honestly the kind of turning point for me, because you get in and out really quick. The map's tiny, so you can learn it really easily, like really in depth, and then just like pushing that super hard. That was kind of how I ended up getting it. And you can push your PMC kill count up, and within I don't know, within like a couple of sessions, to be honest, if you spent like a week of evenings, which you may not get time to do, but over like a couple of weeks or something, you'll probably get 50 PMC kills again, like really quickly, actually. So I don't know, if you're like, it's kind of trial by fire in some ways, and but it's a good map to learn because you don't have to learn the ins and outs, you don't have to run all the way to resort to go and fight people there.
I find it a little bit less daunting now that they've added the expansion, like that little area underneath where the stairs are. That's a nice little hidey hole that gives me a minute to like gather my thoughts. That's definitely helped.
Yeah, so it's like that combined with just like knowing where people might be, and then using the factory exit key. It's like that if you do get injured, you can normally leave pretty easily. There's like I think was like 4 now because you've got the 1 in the new expansion, gate 3, you've got gate 0, you've got cellars. There's 4 extracts that you can take. So normally, if you get like completely beat up, usually on another map, you then have to just like hobble your way or like ibuprofen your way out of the raid. But in factory, you're just like, right, key time, out we go. Back in for the next one. So it's nice for that like just churn and churn and churn of practice. It's one of the few places you can probably get that. So I don't know. That would be my advice to become more comfortable at PvP if that was what you wanted to do. Because I definitely wanted to, and I did that at one point. And the church remembers we talked about it on here, and I basically just like only played factory for like a month.
Wow.
And it was insane. I basically just did like
it'll also break you money wise.
yeah, exactly. But you start to get a bit better at it as well, actually. And it's like you kill somebody and you take their stuff and you leave, and like it ends up sort of becoming like net neutral because like you take their armor and they take your armor. Like once you start getting a few kills, like I basically just used the MP7 every single raid, and had level 5 armor on, and then sort of just sometimes face shield, sometimes not. But it's it's funny, and you don't tend to get like mega squads on factory. Usually, it's like normally a duo. You don't normally have like 5-man. It's like
just
duos or
duos,
trios at most. So sometimes you get stood on, but it's not like trying to fight like 4-man in woods. God, it's so painful.
Oh.
But yeah, that's the deal. But no, Tarkov community is good, and I find it pretty positive. I think it's like with a lot of creators, right? It's like your community kind of reflects you in a lot of respects, and so you put out positive vibes and you collect positive people around you, that kind of reinforces itself. So if somebody comes in, like someone pointed this out to me actually, it was like, crappy people come in to chat or whatever, and everyone else is just like, dude, why are you here being like this? It's like everybody just kind of just like, just go away. Like,
it's like if you're in a bar or something and there's a group of your mates or whatever, and some random outsider comes in and starts being a dick, you like kind of ignore them and they get the message and they go away. And so, Twitch does seem to be like that. You sort of whatever happens, people get attracted to your channel and your chat, and they mingle and make friends, and it's amazing how that can happen when it's literally just a stream of chat and everything. But I've seen it happen before my eyes, and it's brilliant. Like who'd have thought Amazon would be behind something that like could create something so sort of wholesome and nice. It's really, really good.
Exactly. No, it's strange how the world works, eh? Right. On that note, Church, anything else? We done? I think we might be done. What we at? An hour and a half, I think. That's a good running time.
Yeah, I'm worried I've been talking your ear off.
No,
it's been great, man.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
It's been super, super good. Really enjoyed having you here. Thank you so much for saying yes and coming on. It's been
an absolute honor. Like it's really nice to chat to both of you guys. Like watch your streams and stuff and YouTube videos, and it feels very bizarre to me to sort of be accepted kind of as a Tarkov community person. So yeah, it's really good. When I'm so shit at the game, I'm like, please don't watch me streaming. I'll just die.
The thing is, like, I wouldn't also claim to be the best player in the world, right? But it's like, it's what you contribute to the community. I think that kind of like, stands you in good stead. It's like, me with the guys and you with your music and the entertainment you provide. It's like, if I like randomly type into Reddit, people go like, oh, it's GigaBeef, he's here, he's the guide maker, that kind of thing. And it's like, you get people, you do get the comments of people coming on just being like, oh, you're no good at the game anyway, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, whatever. Like,
so
I know, so I don't know what point you're trying to prove.
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm no top 10 pro, so.
Aren't you on the forward for one? Is it forward for one team, John?
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
So that's like such an honor. That's amazing. Like all the guys on that team are like OGs, and it's nuts. And that is such an amazing honor. Like, and none of my friends would really understand sort of how important it is, like being on this podcast or being in Forward as One, or just when I go on somebody's stream who's really big in Tarkov or whatever, like people on YouTube, like when I did the song, the Wipe song, like people saying Dr. Lupo says hello, and like I went on his chat and he's like, John, I love your song. And I'm like, what? Because it's a bit weird because sort of fanboy kind of vibes, like as a musician who's touring and all the rest of it, I'm sort of used to meeting people who are famous and sort of it's sort of them being cool with you, kind of, and you're just like, but like I'm sort of on the lowest rung ever in Tarkov, and again, that's what I feel is nice about this: is people are so cool and welcoming and friendly, and accepting of wherever you are in the like grand scheme of things. And it's really cool. But like Forward as One, wicked. So it's nice to be with those guys. I hope I don't let them down by being dying too much or whatever.
Absolutely not.
Team killing.
There's a weekly check for your survival rating. John, you're pushing really close there.
Yes, we've noticed you're letting the team down. One more team kill and you're out. If I see you buying more teapots, come on, John, what did I say? Only earn your money from killing people. God damn it.
No, it's cool.
It's abusing the flea market.
I was super happy to see you on the teams. I think you deserve that spot. So it's cool. I'm really glad
Thanks,
you're in the community and you can sort of, do your music side and on the side have this really cool Tarkov show as well that I've seen before too. So it's awesome.
It's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Отлично,
Alright.
хорошо. Спасибо большое.
You're very good at that, actually.
I just learned things to say on the mic in Russia. Привет, меня зовут John B. Как дела? That's hi, my name's John B. How you doing? And GigaBeef is like really fucking good, kind of. But it is a swear word. You shouldn't say that to old ladies.
You got to watch out because you're going to be on the next Nikita podcast as a translator or something.
That'd be funny. Yeah.
I want to say real quick, as an American, when I was listening to some of your shows, you kept saying like "hold tight to bird crap," "hold tight to vaccines," and I'm just like, what does "hold tight" mean? Like I don't know what this guy's talking about. So I had to Google it, and I was like,
yes. It's kind of, I don't know how I've ended up doing that. It's a bit embarrassing, but like so drum and bass. You have in drum and bass clubs. Usually you have an MC as well. So I would be DJing, and there'll be a guy MCing who's an MC who's good at it, and sort of the sort of stereotypical way MCs sort of talk and certain things they like hold tight to such and such, big up, shouting out people in the club or whatever, and partly because I can't rhyme and I shouldn't need to anyway. I've just ended up doing this weird parody of like MCing in an MC voice, but sort of saying, I don't know, there's one, I think you've probably seen the one where I'm like photoshopped kind of into the Boris Johnson's COVID conference. So I'm just like, hold tight to PPE, hold tight to vaccine massive. Like, I don't know. So whatever comes out of my head. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's just really embarrassing. Like,
I love it.
Like the Tarkov ones are good because I'm like, hold tight to rats, hold tight to chads, pick up the customs massive, hold tight to Rashada.
I love it. Honestly, it's so good. The entertainment value is so good. Yeah, it's so good, man. Honestly. Ah, beautiful, beautiful. Well, shall we wrap it up?
Yeah, I was gonna say, where can people find you at, John?
Well, my Twitch, pretty much on any social media or anything, it's John B Beta, JOHN Beta. My record label's called Beta. I probably should have thought of Alpha or Sigma or something like that. I've instead pick the beta male. So whatever. So yeah, John B Beta on Twitch, Twitter, all the rest of it. I think on YouTube I'm the John B. But everywhere else it's John B Beta. Just Google me; it'll show you something. Probably, hopefully, it's recent.
Fabulous. And if you haven't ever caught one of John's streams, or even just go back and watch one of the videos, like even just for a couple of minutes, like it's an experience. It's an experience.
Thanks.
Cool. Well, with that, we'll wrap it up. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks again, John, for coming on, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you next time.
See ya.